Turn my headphones up. All right. It's 8:15 with the Trap Queen. 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 You know the vibes. Yeah, you know the vibes. What's up, beautiful people? It's Pretty Girl Love Trap content, and we are here this Movie Monday. All right, we're talking about higher learning. Okay, this is a hood classic. All right, I'm just saying, if you don't know, now you know. This film was written and directed by none other than John Singleton, and it was premiered in 1995, y'all. So it's definitely a throwback, but I thought this would be a good little movie to review. So thank you, DeMarcus, Candy Love, Samir, Mr. Jones. How are y'all doing? I do have a special guest joining me in a few, so I'm going to be excited to chop it up with my guest, okay? But before we get into the thick of things, all right, please make sure you're liking this video, subscribe if you're not a subscriber. I'm just saying, I'm on the road to 900 subscribers. I think I need like 20 more to get there, so we can get, okay, to 900 subscribers at least before Forest premieres in the next month. I will be highly grateful, okay? So please make that happen for your girl. And yes, share me if you can. Do all the things, and we're going to just have a good time, okay? If you don't know, and if you're watching this review and never seen this movie, okay, it's definitely a must-see. Pretty much in terms of a summary, this movie follows a diverse group of incoming freshmen in Columbus University. And, you know, they take us on a journey as to what they experience during their first semester, right? It's a lot of drama, y'all. There's a lot of racism. There's a lot of, exploration. There's a lot of sexual violence, regular violence. Okay. Yeah, it's a lot. But definitely a lot of gems in a dialogue. So I definitely want to break it down and discuss. Please make sure in the chat, we over here having fun. Of course, I know y'all be respectful, so I ain't got to tell you that. If you watching a replay, let's get down to comments and discuss as well. And if you guys have some other recommendations of movies, please feel free to, let me know in the comments or in the chat. Probably going to do more movie reviews, probably September, October, because I have rap shit premiering in the next week or so. We have Winning Time. I'm doing the Forest rewatch. Okay, that starts on Thursday. All right, Thursday, we're doing episodes 1 and 2. And then I'm doing my original Power on Wednesday. So we're in episode 503. And I have a little Power Live on Wednesday. So I have a double dose for y'all on Wednesday. I'm counting down the most toxic mother and son relationships in the Power. Excited. What's up, the homie? Thank you for coming through. Haven't seen you in a while. What's up, Moochie? All right, special guest, are you ready? All right, she's ready. Hi. Yes. Thank you for sharing in this experience of reviewing higher learning. Okay.
Of course.
Speaking of higher learning, you over there higher and learning over there. Okay. Trying to be a doctor and all that. Okay. So
yes, ma'am. The highest learning.
Child, I told myself after undergrad I was going to take me a little break before I go to grad school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was about 20 years ago. I said, I'm done. I am done. Okay, I did 16 years of the education.
Yes,
so
I do not blame you.
Kudos to you for sticking it through, boo, because it ain't easy. All right.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I'll be asking myself, what did I get myself into? But we're going to have to keep it going.
All right, y'all, let's get into it. So, Miss K, just start off, of course, we're reviewing higher learning. Do you have, any quick thoughts about, just this movie before we get into it? Or, do you want to just dive on it?
Yeah, I think we can dive in because there's lots to say. Yeah. So
okay, all right. We're going to start off with the introduction. of some of the main characters. Okay, we have Remy, who I probably hated for at least 10 years straight, like every day, based on his actions in the movie. We'll get to that. We have Remy, the Caucasian gentleman on the upper left-hand side. We have Malik Williams, who's played by Omar Epps. And I'm sorry, Remy is played by Michael Rappaport. And looking back, because I haven't seen this movie in a while, I'm like, he did a hell of a performance. And that's definitely underappreciated from my perspective. So I'm like, dang, he really had me hating him up in here. We have Kristen, and off bat, John Singleton is setting the mood, okay? He already know he was triggering the people when he got this university, this fictional university called Columbus University, okay? If y'all don't know, Columbus is highly celebrated in the US of A. Well, we all know the truth, okay? Shout out to my great-grandmother, okay? She was 100% Indian, okay? So I do got Indian in my family, okay? It's like 12.5%, but don't check me, okay? 12.5% of me is Indian, okay? And so Christopher Columbus, he don't do nothing for me. We celebrate him in America, got holidays and whatnot, but this man, of course, have been, he's a thief, he's a murderer, he's all the things, okay? But this is why I feel like John Singleton put him at the center of his university. But any thoughts about, just the opening of, the tone that Singleton is setting right here, Miss K?
Yeah, that was one of the things that I automatically was drawn to was Christopher Columbus. I said, "Ooh, look at this." And then the fact that like the racial tones are just so present so early in the movie, like it's not even 10 minutes in and it's already going down. Like the elevator scene and everything. And then we'll talk later about the other stuff, but I'm just like, wow. It's throughout the whole movie, basically.
Yes. Speaking of elevator scene, Kristen, she comes in and you know how it is when somebody about to, they try to hold the elevator. So, Malik's like, nah, son, let me in through. We don't know when this elevator come back down. And so, it's a little awkward, a little tense, because you know how it is when you in the elevator with, a stranger. But she proceeds to clutch her purse. And when she does that, I clutch my pearls. I'm like, girl, ain't nobody thinking about your purse.
No.
And, Malik over there like, girl, come on. I'm pretty sure I probably got more bread than you. Like, and, she is not, it's funny because throughout the movie we learn things about her. And I'm like, girl, you ain't even worth the jacket. Like, what are you doing? So, of course. But I'm sure a lot of Black men in America have, and still presently are dealing with this type of issue where they deemed as threats or threatening. But yeah, that's a lot. But yeah, she's clutching her little purse. And so we are also introduced to Deja. And she's a fellow track star. Malik is a track star, a little cocky track star, might I add.
That part.
Like, I haven't seen this movie in a while. I was like, oh, you was really feeling yourself.
Yes. I was like, what's really wrong with this kid? He really expect like the red carpet treatment and everything. I was like, what? I don't like that. But
yeah, it kind of turned me off. I was like, ooh, Omar.
But he's so cute though, isn't he?
I know, right? I know. I forgot Omar. I'm like, all right, Omar.
Right.
All right.
You cute, whatever.
You say you cute or whatever?
Yeah, you cute or whatever.
Oh gosh. And of course we have Tyra Banks who's playing Deja. And I was like, I forgot. It threw me back to Love and Basketball because they actually played a couple Love and Basketball. Yeah. So I was like, oh, okay, that's give me a little, we'll know what happens eventually, but it made me feel a little better, like they can rekindle their relationship.
Yeah, right. They did kind of fix that for us in Love and Basketball. I felt the same way. It's so funny you would say that. I'm like, oh, okay, they don't put Deja, even though I didn't want them together in Love and Basketball.
Me either, child. I showed.
Gave us a little closure.
Yes. I don't know. It was probably about maybe about 7 years of closure. I think that was in the early 2000s. But he fixed it. And I know at one point Tyra Banks was dating John Singleton. So I wonder if it was around this time or not. I'm not quite sure. but I know they was.
I think they were dating during this time, and I heard
Okay.
that he was weirded out by the love scene, and I'm like, then why have it in there, and why have your girlfriend play this character?
Exactly. Oh my God, I'm so done.
Yeah.
And then we have Regina King. I was like, all right, I always love me some Regina King. And she automatically, she's in the dorm room and she's looking at the pictures and she was like, oh, I got a Caucasian roommate. Well, my thing is, Miss K. Now I went to what they call a PWI, predominantly white institution. That's in contrast to HB, CU, like historically black college university. So if you knew you was at a PWI, why are you so shocked and appalled and, and disappointed about your Caucasian roommate? I'm like, girl, you should have went over to Spelman if you wanted 100% opportunity to have. But maybe it's just I don't know. Maybe she didn't look at the demographics when she applied, but I was like, but I mean, I get it, but at the same time, you got to be ready for, what I'm saying, what you
right.
So it was very awkward between the two. Of course, she was disappointed. Kristen was a little more, open, but it took, Deja a while, to kind of what was wrong.
I was trying to figure out what was the point of her saying, I really like that side of the bedroom, but I see you already got it. I'm like, it don't make no sense to say nothing. She done put her pictures up and everything. Girl, let it go. And then Kristen gonna sit on the bed talking about something. Yep, I think so. That would have made me mad.
Yes.
Like you rubbing it in.
I don't know if Monet was thinking like, oh, maybe if I say something, she'll be, I won't say intimidated, but more inclined, to give it up. But I'm a girl that moved in already. My clothes up in the closet, like,
Yep. I think that's why she said it, because she not to intimidate, but to like hoping maybe she'll say, "Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Sure, you can take my side." No, girl. I don't like that. Did everything, had my rock music playing and everything. I was
exactly. It set the vibe and everything. You're like, girl. But I'm like, was this your first time in the room? Did you leave and come back? Because you already, what I'm saying? How you already claim a side? I don't see none of your stuff up in here, girl.
Yeah.
But okay, that was interesting to me. But thank God, when I was in college, the summer before we moved, because we took like a survey, like a roommate survey of like if we're, like to sleep nights or days, like how our sleeping patterns is, if we smoked or not, like little things like that.
Oh,
and
that's
so
cool.
my roommate, Kelly, my first roommate, for my freshman year, me and her actually like exchanged letters. It was back in the day, but we was writing letters, honey. And so like we pen pals.
I like it.
And so we eventually, exchanged number. I think in her letter, she wrote me first. And then she gave me her number. Then we like talked throughout the summer about, things we liked and didn't like. So we kind of had like a rapport before we moved in, which was good. So I'm not sure if every school did that, but that's definitely like a pro tip, I feel like.
That's really something that they probably should all do.
Yes.
Especially when you watch this movie right here. Oh my gosh.
Yes. They're probably more advanced now with it. They probably got all types of surveys. Upload your picture, kind of like a dating app. Like, no, I don't want to roommate with you. I don't want to room with you.
Right.
All right, Miss K. Now we seeing the party time. The party, they really setting the vibe. We have, the frat brothers, they over there drinking it up. Kristen was with her, I'm gonna say friends, but I'm using that term loosely. They're over there drinking. They meet Billy and they meet, his frat brother. And then one thing that caught me off guard, or something that I may have not paid attention to previously, they have this American woman chug-a-lugging.
Right.
And everybody was like, drink. And now, of course, it's apparent that it's this black girl and it's all white frat party. But I'm like, what are you trying to, I want to know like what John was thinking to kind of pose that in front of us. Like what was going on in his mind? Like what was the message there?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe there's always one, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I thought that too.
Like somebody's going to be whitewashed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She's probably grown up around that. She's probably well-to-do. So this is where she fits in. If you notice, everybody that as you looking at this scene, and then they say, "Oh no, no one parties like us," and automatically you go to the blacks party, and like and so it's like everybody kind of just teamed up with the people that they were most comfortable with.
Yeah.
And so I guess to me, it would say that this is where she's totally comfortable. She doesn't look uncomfortable at all. She's just straight chug-a-lugging.
Don't. Because in my mind, my dark, twisted, mind, I'm thinking this is like a weird way of them showing us, not necessarily hazing, but like some weird, like racial torture type. Not really torture because she's enjoying it, but something a little more darker, I guess I was thinking.
You never know.
But
might be, girl.
I don't know. I'd be like, what's the deep dark meaning here?
Yeah.
Hey, Big Whoop.
Hey, Big Whoop. And everybody in the chat.
So, of course, like you said, they started introducing how we party. Okay, we was vibing. We was.
Yes.
We see Busta Rhymes in here. Like Busta Rhymes set a whole mood in the whole vibe.
I loved. Oh my God!
I forgot how much I loved him in this.
Woo, he had my son. This is the reason why I wanted to do this with my son, because he had my son cracking up.
Really?
Yes. And I'm like, yeah, I got to get the rest of my kids to watch it. But girl, yes.
Yes, he was definitely a vibe. So everybody partying. Okay, Monet up in there. She done found her way to the party. And then, of course, we, pan into some Afro, dude talking, you guys don't know what this system is about. So we all seen the militant side of whoever this is. So he's talking about, he triggered me. I ain't gonna lie, Miss K, because he was saying this is a petty trigger. Well, not really petty, but he was
probably the same one I wrote down. Go ahead, girl. Go on. Go on with the credit card thing.
He was mentioning that the financial institutions are really the ones that's pulling the strings, right? He was like, do y'all know what this bank is? I think he said IFC. I'm not quite sure. Don't quote me. And then he was like, yeah, but y'all got them credit cards, though. I said, oh, they sure got me with them credit cards. As soon as I turned 18, Target, Old Navy. Like, I'm sorry, people. I ain't paid y'all back. But
oh gosh.
I was triggered. I said, oh, you ain't had to do me like that, Cube. You ain't have to do me like that.
Told you.
He too, because he was like, y'all still, living beyond your means, and that whole slave kind of mentality. That's what a lot of credit cards, do. So that's another way I feel like that's a systematic thing that we have in America. Not saying like other countries don't have that, but the credit cards will have you in the chokehold if you don't know no better.
Girl. And when you said that, and I'm sorry for cutting you off and stealing your thunder to tell your story, but I knew you was gonna talk about the credit cards.
Really?
Because when he said it, and look, I've seen this movie so many times, but sometimes when you about to be reviewing something, you kind of like looking at it with all kinds of different lenses, and you listen to everything. And so when he said that, he said, yeah, y'all probably don't even got a checking account, but I sure got them credit cards, right? I said, ooh, I always remembered that once I turned 18, they was right outside of the college. The first college I went to was BMCC in Manhattan. They freaking were outside as I'm trying to get to the school. They were outside in the college to having us sign up for the credit cards and stuff. And of course I was approved and everything. And that was the first gotcha. Yep. And I'm like, wow, like you never realize how there's this system, like you said, like there's really this system that is already set in place for us to fail. We're 18. What the heck do we know about having a credit card? I bought me some Blueberry Tims. With some Tims, the black and blueberry Tims or something like that. And child bought some for my sister. And I think that was the whole credit card. That was the whole $300.
Yeah, I was
never paid them back. Yeah, never paid them back. And then eventually I did because it racked up to like $900. Girl, you see how they make their money? Mm-hmm. So yeah, sister, it's, that's how it is. But I did, it's funny when he says it because he breaks down so many things. And it's like, when you hear him say it, it's like, wow, it's really, it's set up for us to fail.
Exactly. When that, as you said it now, I do remember them camping out on our campus. not camping out, but they had their little tables set up because I think it was like a MasterCard or a Capital One card at that time. And then I got me a Target card that, it was just because it was so easy to get approved because it's like sometimes no credit is better than bad credit. So they was like, okay, it's kind of like, I hate to equivalent it, but it's kind of like your first hit. The first hit always free. Okay.
Yeah. Wow.
But that's how they do us. So we in a party, vibing, and then we have Remy, who is kind of like an apartment setup. Because upperclassmen typically, this is how it was in my school too. They kind of have more of an apartment feel where you have like a living room and like 3 to 4 like dorm rooms, which is odd because Remy was in here. And he's a freshman, but okay, I'm just
let it roll.
Yeah. But and I have to also add that Ice Cube, aka Fudge, is a super duper senior. Okay, this is year number 6. Okay,
please talk about it.
Year number 6. I can't even imagine. Now I know the game because I'm low key. My best friend did this. When she graduated, she started getting more degrees because it prolongs your student loans, and then you're still able to get reimbursement of your refund checks. So that was kind of her method, even though she was still getting higher education. That's kind of like another way to prolong, paying back some of your loans. And still, if your tuition is less than the loan that you take out, you get what you call a refund check. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, Ms. K. But we used to call it a change check. So even in undergrad, we had change checks. So if your, student loan was for the semester $10,000 and you pay your room and board, and if you do like a meal plan, and if that's $6,000, you're going to get $4,000 back and just a check. And you can do whatever you want, even though
I get them checks.
Okay, yes. So, that's kind of like what she was doing for a while to, still keep some bread in her pocket. And I was very responsible. Okay, I would get my books, then I would go to the mall. My friends, not so much. They were sharing books. They was making copies of pages. I was at least a responsible person. Okay.
Yeah, at least you copped the book.
Midterms. But yeah, he's a super junior senior. He's militant. He think he's giving the system his little jab. And FU to America in his way. But yes, he's been there for 6 years. All right. So Remy is in one of the rooms and a couple other roommates. They're tired. Tomorrow is the first day of class, and Fudge got a whole party going on. And now Miss Kate, looking back now, I was like, he was doing too much.
That was wrong. That was some bully mess.
Yes.
He was bullying.
He was doing, I was like, come on now. Like, I don't remember I didn't show a clock, but I'm gonna at least, assume it's too late, for them to be out there partying. So Remy eventually finds security and shut the party down. And they were okay about it, but you could see like a little racial undertone because, apparently there was some, soft rock music playing down the hall. And Ice Cube was like, well, dang, you ain't gonna shut their party down. And then the security guard was like, yeah, I happen to like that music.
Right. See? And the thing is, when Remy went to go see, go get the officers, he was like, hey, man, they're playing their music. I'm like, are you kidding?
I knew you was going to say that. I love when you imitate. I'm not trying to be a narc or nothing, but it's like Soul Train upstairs.
Yeah, what? Like, I'm like, are you serious?
I said, come on now. I mean, I get the reference, but
yeah, I was so annoyed with him. Like, but that's how like they probably talk about us like that.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? When we're not around. So
definitely.
They're playing their music.
Yes.
And you're playing your music. The heck
annoying.
But did you like that? I'm sorry, real quick at the beginning, how when it was just showing the difference, like even in I don't really want to say culture, right? Because you had Malik playing his hip hop, and then you got to Remy, he was playing his hard rock, and then you had Kristen playing her soft rock and roll. Yeah. So it's just like all of these different,
Yes, I love that.
Everybody's got their own little their own mood that they're setting, right?
Mm-hmm.
According to, I guess, their personalities.
Yeah,
Yeah.
personalities, background, or what have
Yep.
you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that. It was nostalgic because I remember doing those very things, setting
Yeah.
it up, you know.
Oh, I wish I would have went to college. I mean, I got degrees, but I didn't go to
Mm-hmm.
college, and I wish that I would have had that experience. But whatever. One more thing I will say is that I thought that it was very interesting that when we see Remy, he has a skeleton T-shirt. I do not take seeing skulls. I said
Mm.
skeleton skulls. I don't take that lightly. That's not a great sign to me. I don't like skulls.
Yeah, that weirds me out too. That you said it like lately. I don't know what it is. It's like little things when I see like skulls or just gothic like things.
Mm-hmm.
It gives me a bad vibe. Like it's like weird juju's around if I'm
Yeah.
around that.
Yeah, you should have told me when I used to be picking out my kids' clothes, like looking at stuff, and I'm like, that's skulls on it. I'm like, well, they have so many children's clothes with skulls. I'm like, and then my son, I'm gonna tell him like, can you not? Don't be buying stuff with those skulls on it. I keep on telling you, gosh.
And then we have Kristen. She left her friends who was getting too drunk, but she meets Taryn. And she kind of explains kind of like the system. Because she was like, you shouldn't be walking around campus at night. She explained they had a blue light system for safety. They have pay phones throughout the campus. And it was just crazy. And our school wasn't like, it was mid-size. But I guess this was common, but it seemed like it was hella dangerous up in there at Columbia University.
Yeah, like what the heck?
Like I'm like, we need all, and we had that too at my school, but it seems like assault and things and violence was kind of prevalent there.
Yeah.
They didn't necessarily make it clear of what like city is in, but I guess from my understanding, it looks like it's California.
Yeah, okay. I thought it was Florida for some reason. I don't know why, but you might be right.
Yeah,
because of what Kristen said, right? I don't know.
Yeah, Kristen said she was from around Disneyland, and then in the future scene, I saw Malik's address. It said LA.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, they're based out of California. There was a missed opportunity when Kristen and Monet was kind of talking, and she was like, "You're not from around here, are you?" She was like, "No." So I wish they kind of told us where Monet was from.
Well, it sounded like she might have been close to Compton. When she said that, she was like, "You from Compton?" I mean, she said, "Is that close to Compton?" She's like, no. Disneyland.
But it seemed like if she was from Compton, she would still probably have heard of it before. Because she made it seem like, to me, and my perspective was a little different. It seems like Compton was like her, you know how like you're not from a place, you just know like famous places from that area. So that's why I'm like, she can't be too, she can't be around here. I don't know where she would have been from, but I get your point too. It's just, I guess, all in perspective. But I feel like they could have closed that gap for my nosy self. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't really I always thought it was like down south somewhere. I think because there's a real one somewhere down there. But it might not be Florida though. I think it's somewhere else. But anyway, go ahead. Okay. And yeah, the trees look very different, so
That's true. So Ice Cube, he is super duper senior. He's damn near administrative right now. So he's letting all the people know, about the different, races and ethnic groups. He was seeing all the white people say, "Oh, that's Disneyland over there." You see, that's, the Spaniards, that's south of the border. There's Chinatown, and this is the black hole because we black folk. I'm like, why we got to be the black?
Right.
It illustrated how, like, pretty much races stuck together for the most part. And it's weird because, like I said, my school was very diverse when I started. It was 30% black. But
what was the school you went to?
It's called Francis Marion University. It was small. It's in South Carolina. But and it's not like everybody thinks it's like a private school. It wasn't a private school.
I was just curious.
The demographics definitely changed since then. But that's the reason why I prefer to go to a racially mixed, mixed culture school, because I wanted my experiences to represent the real world. Don't get me wrong, there was a lot of pros to going to an all black school. I just felt like I would personally benefit from going to a school, learning about different cultures and different people and how, to interact with them.
Look at you, girl, having your mind already made up at that age.
I was fine, whatever.
It was a little advanced and stuff.
I was fine, whatever. And I ain't gonna lie, and not to, I hate to say this, but the grounds were kept better in predominantly white schools than African American schools, unfortunately.
I could imagine.
And that was part of my decision as well, because a lot of the HBCUs, they shared bathrooms for each hall. My school was 4 to a bathroom. The landscaping was beautiful. So it was kind of other things too, which sucks because I hate the fact that they do our schools as a service. Even now to this day, we have, like a couple years ago, Howard had a big mold issue. A lot of schools in Atlanta having mold issues, having infestations. And it's horrible because you go to school to be comfortable, not to have to deal with the drama of all that.
Right.
Paying money. But we in class, girl, and we introduced to, Lawrence Fishburne and his little accent. So he's a political science major, a professor Phipps, and I ain't gonna lie, he pissed me off here, Miss K. Because he asked for a volunteer, okay? And everybody like, who gonna volunteer on the first day? So of course Malik cocky behind, I'm gonna do it. So he tells him to read off the list. So he reads off the list. Everybody stands who's on the list. And then his name is last. So he's like, well, what's this list for? And he was like, well, this is the list of the people whose financials haven't settled. And I need you guys to go and get y'all money together and pay y'all bills.
And why though? Why you just say y'all got to report to the such and such office? Why you got to do all of that? All it's just too much information. Like, whatever.
There were so many other ways. Normally, and maybe because my stuff was always settled before class. Like you would normally find that information before class start.
Yeah.
Or even if you had a list on the door, maybe you can kind of see your name highlighted. Like, I feel like that was so kind of degrading and embarrassing. I didn't like that at all.
Nah.
Not at all. But of course, Malik and Kristen, they were kind of the two people that stood out to be on that list. He's cocky. He was like, what's up with my bill? She was like, you got a partial scholarship, my boy. Like, you need to talk to your coach.
Yeah. For real.
So he goes to the coach all humble because previously he was cocky. His coach was like, we don't need your attitude here. So now he's had to be a little humble.
Yes.
And start working for that full scholarship.
Good lesson for these youngins.
Yes. So it showed me how like cocky he was. Like, cause when you watch it when you're younger, it's just entertainment. Sometimes now you see it as on a different lens.
Yeah. Like I also liked how Professor Phipps was like, there are no handouts in the free world. It's like, ain't that true? They trying to say this is a free country, but like they ain't trying to give you nothing, child.
It's a scam.
Yes.
It's a scam, Miss K. So this is another disrespectful moment.
Yeah.
Fudge comes in. Dredd is Busta Rhymes' character's name. He was like, talking about some girl's fat booty. And he proceeds to turn on, I believe it was Al Green.
Yes.
Together loud while Remy over here trying to study. And I'm like, even though I know what's going to happen, I end up feeling bad for Remy in this scene. I never thought I would see the day to look back and feel bad for this boy trying to study. And so he was like, well, he was telling Fudge, like, hey, what would you do if, you had a hard class to study for? He was like, nothing. If you do something, I'm going to knock your behind out.
Yeah, like that wouldn't happen to me because I would whoop your ass. I'm like, really? You are a bully. Don't get me wrong. He was schooling folks and everything, but he definitely was a bully.
Yes.
That was so uncalled for.
Miss K, I don't think you would kind of take lightly to that type of treatment in school.
No.
I can see you. Let me tell you something.
Oh, like, all right. Probably put it to the test. Like, all right, let me come up in here, watch. We'll wait till you study. Blast the music. It's not gonna be Al Green either.
No.
It's probably gonna be something real loud.
It's gonna be AC/DC Ozzy Osbourne, some crazy.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. So
like punks jump up to get beat down.
Oh gosh. So one thing I did notice with this movie, that Malik has two major, I would say at least three major influences on his, mentality in terms of his growth. Ice Cube being one of them. Fudge being one of them. And he asked him like, "Hey, why are you going to this school?" And he was like, because I got a little scholarship. And so, he's giving him little scenarios about life. And he realized, of course, he's still wet behind his ears, but I really was appreciative of him really trying to see where Malik's head at, and try to make him think outside the box. Yes.
I'm just laughing because of the whole run nigga run comment.
Yes.
I'm like, dang, people like him, like these really extremely woke people, sometimes they take it just way too, it's almost like you don't want to say that somebody's taking it too far, because it's almost like you have to be like that. But at the same time, it's like, dang, I can't even have a scholarship because of my athleticism. Exactly. You want to talk about some run nigga run? This is crazy.
It can get low-key annoying, you just
it really can.
Like, come on, I know we power to the people, but
yeah,
some breathing space. Like, come on, just chill out. I'm just trying to do me.
Exactly. Just a little breathing space,
Hey, Big L, how are you? Thank you for coming through. Yes, like the video, y'all. So now we start seeing the weirdness, I would call it, of Remy, the naivete, all of it. They're in a little rec room in the school, on the campus, and Bleak beats him at a game, like a video game. Then he creepily starts watching this pool game, with his roommate, and they're inviting him to play. He was like, "I don't know how to play." So we starting to see some background on Remy, something ain't too clean in the middle.
Yeah, there's definitely some mental work going on.
Yeah.
This kid down here at the bottom, he's his new roommate, because after that situation that happened with Fudge, he moved out the next day. And so now that's his new roommate, and he's weirded out by him. He's like, "Man, you better, my days are numbered, man." He's got this cycle, got Bates Motel in my room,
So thank you for picking that up. Thank you. I thought I put it in a picture, but I must have forgotten it. But yes, they did.
Yeah, so he's really scared of him and weirded out. And like you said, there's moments where you do feel sorry for Remy, because you kind of see him trying to fit in, but he's very socially awkward.
Very.
Yeah. And so he really needed to find a group of like-minded people like him, not people that wouldn't kill anybody. Because I really don't think that Remy would have been someone like that. No. I just think if he would have found his, a weird crew of his own. Yeah, exactly. His tribe, then he would have been fine. But unfortunately, the wrong folks got a hold of him.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. I felt bad because at the end of the movie, I'm like, am I soft? I started to feel differently. I'm like, because I'm getting old. I know I'll be crying at the weirdest, things now. I'm getting older and emotional, but I'm like, I'm feeling bad.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah. And I don't want to jump, but I hope I remember. Let me just write it down real quick, because I don't want to jump.
Okay.
Where's my pen?
Y'all, please make sure y'all like this video, okay?
Yes.
So, Kristen, she's over there drinking, okay? And this kind of annoying me, because you can see Billy and his homie was kind of plotting. Billy over there whispering to his homie, Kristen, she doesn't drink, okay? So he already know that, she's out of her element. And so, she ends up, getting kind of, taken out of the bar with Billy. Like her feet are sliding. Like she was a sloppy drunk at this point, I would say. And so he's pretty much like, I'm going to take you back to the crib or whatever. And her friends, as I say in air quotes, comes out the bar like, hey, we should have let her leave with Billy. And one of them was like, who's Billy? And they just over there like, they sloppy drunk on their own. But I'm like,
yeah,
we don't roll like we didn't roll like that when I was coming up. Like,
no,
I wasn't like a big drinker ever. Like I would like socially drink, in school or whatever. I never got drunk. That was never my purpose. But that's trash to me. Like, your homegirl drunk and you gonna let her go with a guy. Like, sometimes you can kind of gauge like, okay, she's insane and sober mind if your homegirl knows exactly where she's at, what she's doing, and she's familiar with the guy, then okay, maybe. But if she drunk out of her mind and they said she doesn't drink, yeah, and you can tell they didn't really care about her like that. Like,
yeah, they didn't. I don't even know where she got them from. I mean, it seemed like she knew them from home, but it's just like it didn't fit to me.
No, she was just trying to find, kind of like Remy in a sense, trying to get in where she fit in a little bit.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nancy Love. Yes, please like the video. And so Billy takes her home and he proceeds to sexually assault her. Now, Kristen was down to engage in sexual activity, but she just asked him to get protection. She asked him several times, and at one point he was like, "Shut up."
Yeah.
I'm like, ugh. So he proceeds to like, still engage and be inserted inside of her, what have you. And she eventually gets the strength because she's screaming and everything. I'm like, nobody hears her screaming in this frat house. Like, it wasn't no loud music or anything. Like, it frustrated me.
Yeah.
So she ended up, kind of kneeing him or whatever and escaping out of the room. And he kind of ran after her. Like, Lord, Miss K, like, do you have anything to add about this? Because it really is a mess.
I didn't like it. It was kind of hard to watch, especially with him just continuously like pumping on her to just hold on. I mean, first of all, like, and it's not to blame her, but it's like, make sure the dude has the condom on before he goes and inserts. You don't say, hey, like, I think we should be using a condom,
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, make sure he has it on. If you're down already, you know what I mean? And just say, hey, bro, get that condom on. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to put your foot down first. You know what I mean? I mean, it's not like it was consensual. So it's not, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, make him put the condom on.
Yeah.
But it was just disgusting what he did.
It was. And this is 1995 when this film was made. So that's kind of the height of, HIV and AIDS. And, she's probably thinking about that, thinking about pregnancy. So many, I can't think of the word, but, so many, consequences, I guess I would say, to not being protected. And then Remy's weird, creepy behind is at this party. And he was like, hey, did you give it to her? Did you stick it to her? Did she like it?
What? Yo, this is when we really see like it's not, the mind is not wrapped too tight.
No, he's definitely a few French fries short of a Happy Meal. I was just like, bruh, like, you've been weird at this point, but we're definitely seeing like, what's going on in there.
The red flags. Like, and to me, here was the one of the biggest red flags was when, and this is what I wrote down, because I don't know if it was before the scene or right after, when he said to some guy, no, you know what? It's after this because that's right before. So I don't know if I should say it yet. It's just coming out.
I'll probably cover it. It's probably coming up. So Kristen goes home. She's crying in her dorm room. Monet comes in, so she's like, what's going on? She's not really talking. Of course, she's still in shock and probably distraught and everything. So Billy calls the dorm room and he's like, can I speak to Kristen? And she's kind of like, taking her social cues like, is this person you want to talk to or not? And Kristen's like, no. So she's doing, the friendly thing, like, hey, she's not here. May I take a message? I don't know no Billy. So Billy get frustrated with Monet. And he was like, put her on the phone, you black bitch.
Yeah.
And so I love Regina King in this scene. She's like,
what did you say?
She channeled that character she played in Boys in the Hood, like around the Wade Street real quick. Like, what?
Yes. Oh gosh. Ain't nothing to talk about. Hang up the phone.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, Billy, you doing too much, Billy. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like they show the clock. It's like 2:30 in the morning or something. So she goes to Fudge. Of course, he's like the ambassador of all the black people on campus. And so he's looking like it's a silent scene for like 30 seconds or so, but it's so impactful because they're both, she's staring at Fudge, Kristen over there just not knowing what to do, and Fudge just over there with his little book, like with his head cocked, like. He was like, let's go. And we see Busta Rhymes. We gonna beat some
Yeah.
always
out.
Anytime he said that, his energy was so fire. I don't know how they kept these scenes straight with Busta Rhymes. I wish
For real.
Always so ready. He was trained to go.
Yes, he was excited.
Yes. So of course we had to go see about Billy. Okay. And so Ice Cube, they went in there, of course they all startled and all the white people like, oh my God, what's going on? So Kristen points the guy out. And Ice Cube and them took him outside and he was like, apologize, beautiful black queen. Like he was effing up because it was a lot.
It was.
But I think they got the point. So the police, of course, always shows up, for the situation. And Billy was like, everything's cool. We cool, right? And so he was like, all right. And then the cops always proceeding to ask for them for their ID.
Yeah.
Like the frat guy was like, these gang members, Busta Rhymes, we go to this school too. What you talking about?
He said, did he say shut up if I rip you off this stairs?
Look at the mean mug on his face.
Yeah, right in front of them too. Security, they not care.
What you talking about? Spitting everywhere. I'm like, you tell them, Busta. I'm like, y'all cops, if y'all don't recognize Fudge from the past 6 years,
right?
And this loud Jamaican guy,
exactly,
as students. Stop playing with us. You know they go here.
Just stop. That's like, please, we don't need to show them nothing. We ain't showing no ID.
Exactly.
They couldn't do nothing about these kids not showing no ID.
No, not at all.
Should have asked the freaking guy, Scott, for his daggone ID, but I ain't gonna go there yet.
He loves I would have been kicked off the set anytime I had to shoot with Busta. Oh gosh, I definitely would love some insight on that. Yeah. And so before they leave, they see Remy over there, with his little frat cup, and they always call him a punk A white boy. But you could tell that it kind of was inciting, inside of Remy, like something was brewing because they always punking this boy.
Yeah,
always. But they were just over there laughing.
Yeah, it just really made me feel like, see, this is why you really can't like bully people or make fun of people, taunt them, especially somebody like him with the loose screw. The part that I was talking about was like literally he was talking to another guy right before they showed up. Yes. Right? He was by the door and he was like, I wonder what you would have to do to get in this frat, huh? They probably have to do some crazy things, huh? And he was like, I do it. And so...
thank you for bringing that up. Yeah,
you're welcome. So I'm like, that's the problem. All he needed was to get a group that, like, he was willing to do whatever he needed to do to fit in somewhere.
Exactly.
And
I wanted to bring that part up because one, I'm in a sorority, so that's the one thing. If you should know when you in that college setting, that's the one thing we not gonna tell you. What we do to get into that organization because it's a secret society per se. It's
Right.
not the Illuminati, y'all. I'm just saying, but it's just we are kind of sworn. We can't share that information. So the fact that he's just so oblivious to not knowing, because the guy was kind of looking like, I don't know what you talking about, because I'm sure he knew if he's in that fraternity, but you can't, that kind of show like the ignorance of him, in a sense. Not saying everybody knows, because before
I sure
college,
don't.
all I knew about sorority fraternities was different world. So I didn't know a lot either. My roommates, her mom was in a sorority, and then she wanted to be in a sorority. So that's kind of how my introduction. So not saying like every person needs to have the handbook of what to say, what not to say, but that's kind of was another inkling, like, yeah, like he, like you said, he's down for the get down, okay? And the Caucasian fraternities, they get busy, okay? They get a little crazy. Like when I actually was in school, a young student died because they had him in the woods, and they do a lot of crazy stuff, like way beyond what they need to be doing to be a part of a group. Hey, Monique,
that's that hazing right there.
Yeah.
Hey, Monique.
So I love this scene. So Fudge, of course, not only he is like the protector, he is like the technology guru. He's like the library, like he got all the things from the 6 years. So Malik, he over there, just on the computer. He was like, "Hey, you got the autobiography of Frederick Douglass said, cute." Sorry, Fudge. He was excited. He was like, "Hey, why you want to, that book for a class?" And you can see his frown was like,
That was a funny reaction that he had, though.
It was like
one of the smart ones.
Yes, he was like proud dad. And he was like, "For class." But I'm like, give him a little break, Fudge. The boy 18, like.
You're right.
But it was kind of cute, like.
Yeah, he's like, I thought you was one of the smart ones, but you ain't. So you got to go. Like, why he gotta go?
He's like, can I take this book? Yeah.
Yeah, at least he let him take the book. He's like, but you got to go. I'm like, you kicking him out now? Hey, Tamika.
Oh, gosh. Speaking of books, Remy's over there reading on, some, it looked like, one of the building steps, just by himself in the dark. He gets
where
approached
Columbus
by
is.
Yes. He gets approached by Scott. First, he was a little weirded out because he's like, Scott came off kind of creepy. He was like, well, you want to go out for some drinks? Me and my friends here, some good fellas and I. And I'm like, he was like, what do you want? He thought he was trying to ask him out for a date or something. I probably would have acted that way too. Like, get out my face. You went out for some drinks. Like, he know if it was a pickup line or nothing. And so he was like, he eventually goes and meets up with, it was like 5 of them. They're all like, and it's kind of like star formation in front of, the Columbus statue, what have you. And you could tell, all right, some creepy stuff is about to go down. So come to find out, there are some like white supremacist Aryan nation, whatever you want to, label them as. But and I just like to also point out, we see the American flag is like in a lot of different scenes in this movie because John was like, "You're not gonna forget that this is the BS of it all."
Yeah,
this is America. Yes.
I mean, for that scene right there, like you see what I was saying about how they always asking the black folks, where's your ID? Where's your ID? Now, why the heck do we have a bunch of Aryan brothers who don't go to the school? I mean, I've never, as many times have I seen this movie, I've never got any type of hint that they went to this school. All right. And so the fact that they're able to basically stalk the campus, I don't know what time of night this is, but there's nobody really outside. They're able to stalk the campus. You mean to tell me nobody's going to say anything to this guy who looks creepy? And why is Remy out there this time of night reading by the steps? And so it's almost like this is what they're looking for, people like this. We're going to go on this campus to see if we could recruit some loners, because we're going to find somebody out here that they ain't fitting in nowhere.
Yes.
So annoyed.
No, you're definitely right. I mean, not the human resources I like to deal with, but it was over there recruiting child. All black, everything, like just real creepy.
Yes. And then did you realize how when he said, I mean, we're white in America, this and that. And Remy said, what? He said, we're white in America. Like he repeated the whole thing. And okay, like, all right.
Yeah, it's like, I know that. Like it was just, you can tell he's just so wet behind the ears. It wasn't clicking. It wasn't poor little Remy ain't know what he's about to get himself into.
I'm like, oh, okay.
It was a lot. It was a lot. So, Malik is in class and he's a little upset because his paper ain't papering. Okay. He got all these grammatical errors. And, he's upset that, I think he got like a B in content and a C in like, punctuation or whatever. Or grammatical errors. So he was upset. So he called the professor a sellout. And he was like, Mr. Williams. So they went to his desk, his little office or what have you. And he was like, oh, so Mr. Williams think I'm a Uncle Tom. But it's kind of funny because the audacity of you being a little cocky athlete, you don't get your little stinking little way. And now he is sellout because you thinking because we skin folk, right? That you supposed to just look out for, brother. Like I'm not supposed to expect excellence out of you.
Exactly.
But it seems like it's giving me like Zeke from Power a little bit, like you just expecting, just to have, just to float by because you're an actor.
And it probably happened in high school for him.
I was thinking that. He's used to that, so it's like college is another ballgame. I'm not saying it don't happen in colleges. I know it does, but Mr. Williams, he's getting a rude awakening. Okay?
Yeah, you don't get by because you're white, black, or whatever, or indifferent.
Exactly.
Or like Kristen, who don't know.
Don't know.
She don't know what she is. Well, you ain't getting a pass for that either.
I peeped that. I was like, yeah. It was a couple, things in the dialogue they was kind of hinting towards, especially with him and his meetings with, Kristen and Malik. Yeah. But speaking of sellouts, they have a track meet. Of course, we get a little cameo of Morris. I'm like, okay, a little Boys in the Hood reunion.
Yes, I was gonna say that. Are you loving the Boys in the Hood reunion? Like you got Lawrence Fishburne, Morris Chestnut, Regina King, freaking Ice Cube. It's wonderful.
One of the guys, he was kind of like at the parties around Cube. I can't remember his name. But he was one of the guys from Boys in the Hood. Like, I think he was the one that was not the one in the wheelchair, but he was kind of one of the guys like. There. So I'm like, all right,
Yeah, I'm like, there's probably another person in there, yeah.
Yeah, they always would say John will always come back for his people. You know what I'm saying? So I love that about it. But yeah, we see, Malik is shown as the weak link of the team, and Morris, they didn't have a character name for him, so we're just gonna call him Morris. All right. He was like, you weak, my brother, like you the weakest one in the team that's messing up my stats. And, we ain't going for it. So, of course, Malik, he's in new territory. So, he's not used to being a weakling because he was probably the star in his high school, presumably. So, they kind of get into a little argument, a little, a light scuffleation. But he sees that he likes the snow bunnies. So, he's a little...
He said his cave B. I was like, oh, that don't make you mad as a black woman?
But it was, I don't know if you were able to hear what Morris was telling this lady. He was like, you have the most beautiful hair.
I heard.
Eyes. I'm like, it's giving me like menaces, like don't be a menace when they was like, my white African.
Oh my gosh.
This was hilarious. But this is kind of closure too, because I'm like, yes, Ricky made it to college. He changed sports. It's all right, though. It's all right.
That's true. He could still run. Run, Ricky!
Run, Ricky! Yes. You can run now. You can run now.
If you was running like that, you probably would have made it in Boys.
Girl,
you gotta swerve. You gotta dodge. You gotta swerve. You shouldn't have ran straight. You should have been like this. Zigzag.
it still baffles me to this day.
That's all.
Okay, I'm gonna get upset because when I start thinking about it, I'm like, Ricky, come on.
I know. I don't think I could actually. I can watch the movie, and I think up to that part, I think I can't.
No, yeah. When his mom asked him to go to the store, I'm done.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm moving on. Change the channel. I can't do it. It's a couple movies like that. I can't.
Paid in Full is one of them too. I don't. Once they kidnap the brother, I'll be like, okay, I'm out of here.
Actually,
bye bye.
Weird. I could actually watch the whole thing of that. Set It Off.
Can't. I can't watch Paid in Full.
I can't watch. So it's certain movies, but yeah, Paid in Full, I surprisingly can watch that, even though it's sad.
Yeah, it was just sad.
Shout out to my mom. She knew some of the people in real
life. Okay.
But so yes, we get a little Deja and Malik. He's kind of stepping to her. It's their first little meet, so it's an opportunity for him to get a little game on. So she's from Texas, and it looks like a little match made in situation heaven. And then, we see their relationship progress. She's actually helping him with his paper. And she really seems like that girl that wants you to do good. Like, she ain't going to do his work for him. She's going to teach him how to do the work.
I loved it. Me as a writer, I was like, yes, girl, tell him that's that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No run-on sentences. Yeah, you got to transition. Mm-hmm.
Yes. You got to follow it with your outline. Your outline. He brought me back. I was getting like shakes a little bit, like, oh God, the papers.
Yes.
Oh God, my school had a lot of good resources though. They had tutoring sessions. They had so many things to help you succeed. So I really writing papers was like my forte. People used to actually ask me to like pay me to write papers for them. I never did it, which I think about. I'm like, dang, that could have been some bread, but. I just I just felt like I don't know, and that's a lot of work to be writing papers for like $20-$30. Like
yeah, come on now, you gotta pay me a little more than that now.
Exactly, them papers was getting up in the 20s at some point.
Right.
20-page paper. I don't know.
Like $1 paper. Baby, this is about $60. 100 maybe, sure. But then you are kind of dealing with the budget of a student, so
exactly, yeah, because we was ramen noodled up, what I'm saying. Yeah. So shout out to my uncle. He helped me a whole hell of a lot back in the day. I definitely attribute him to helping me graduate because it got tight sometimes.
Yeah, I helped a few folks graduate too. I ain't gonna say nobody, but I done wrote a few papers in my spare time.
Oh God, Big Wolf, you said, wow, same here, pretty girl. I used to tutor English and was always good at writing papers and essays, etc. Yeah, because you got books out too, Big Wolf. So yeah, I ain't surprised. Yes, that Raphael Sadiq track. Kenny Love said I wrote a few papers back in the day. The athletes had that money. I'm sure they did. I didn't think about the athletes. I didn't tap into that market. Dang. Dang. Whatever. God got me through.
Amen.
So you could tell she was making an impact on him because he turned that paper in, and the professor didn't even believe he wrote it. He was like, "You wrote this paper?" He was like, "I wrote this paper. I done messed with it 3 times." Okay, because I remember them rough drafts, them rough drafts,
Girl,
like,
girl, if you don't stop. You giving me super PTSD with my chapter 2. The content expert then got a hold of it, and he talking about this that. He done freaked me out. No, you're good. I'm just messing.
No, I know,
but it's real. That's what I'm dealing with right now, and I'm very annoyed.
Oh, girl, I can't. And then we have in this scene when he's talking about his paper, he's giving him scenarios and some, just some food for thought. He was pretty much telling him like, hey, because he was asking if he was having issues in the community, in the campus. He was like, yeah, he's dealing with some racism. He was like, well, are you dealing with like crosses being burned? And, he was taking it extreme. Right. I'm like, come on, professor.
Exactly. Like, it's like how do I say this? All right. So for you got the woke fudge where it's just like, okay, bro, like give it to me in a few doses, like calm down a little bit. And
Yeah.
then you got the professor who's just like not taking it as serious as he
Hmm.
needs to. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah.
Is that weird balance. But he's, I keep wanting to say Omar. I'm sorry, Lord. Malik. Malik, he's really talking about the microaggressions, like the minor little minute kind of, things that, insinuates or, signals at racism.
Yes.
Um, but he told him, you gotta work it pretty much, long story short, you gotta work just as hard or harder, to even compete,
Mm-hmm.
with the others, if you say, because he was talking about the man and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's getting that little influence of Fudge and everybody. He's
Yes.
militant himself. So we
Yeah.
see him studying and just really putting the work in. I was
Yes,
like, okay,
that's right.
I know.
Well, can I say one more thing
Oh no,
though?
go ahead. Go
It's with
sorry.
not with Fudge. With Professor Phipps.
Mm-hmm.
As I'm thinking about it, like we do have to take into account his age. And so, people that from, it's the 60s or the 50s, they
That's
dealt with
true.
stuff way different. You know what I mean? So this is a different time. So that's why he's like, I'm sorry, you got to cross, did they spit in your face? Did you ever cross,
Yeah, that's true. He probably
and
look like
because,
little punk ass kids.
right. Exactly. That's all I wanted to say. So I
No,
just
yeah,
kind
that's a
of,
good point too.
yeah.
They try, you because even like the kids we are, kids, your kids probably, just my nephew, kind of look at them like, y'all just
Hmm.
don't know how good y'all have it.
Right.
Complaining about this and that. What y'all talking about? Not
Yes.
really, racial related, but like other things.
Right. Exactly.
Oh God, but that's a great point. And so now we have Remy
Oh gosh.
dealing with his own sort of initiation of sorts of the, white brotherhood and Aryan Nation, what have you. I just hate it because he was like, how do you feel that, America is not even yours anymore?
I was trying to figure out, girl, the logic behind these words. I was like, how he said, how will you feel that you won't get a job because you're a color of your effing skin? I'm like, what are you talking about?
It's ridiculous. Like, y'all want everything. Y'all want
Yeah.
everything.
I mean, are you referring to, because this is the 90s though, but I don't know if they were doing this at this time. But fast forward, are you referring to, were you psychic? Did you have your little That's So Raven going on? Because like now, for diversity's sake, they do sometimes have to hire like a black person. They have to hire somebody. You know what I mean? But I
Mm-hmm.
don't think they were doing that like that at that time. Because I'm trying to figure out what he was referencing over here.
I feel like they was doing affirmative action back then in the 90s. You
I
think so?
mean, they probably were, but not. It probably, how when they put something in place and they take forever to actually
Oh
start
yeah,
doing
implement
it.
it. Yeah.
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 So
But we already
yeah.
know these people, they putting 20 on 10 over there. They definitely hyping things up,
I
being
was
troll
like,
dramatic.
child.
But yeah, so I'm like, Lord. So Remy, of course, don't know nothing about life. He's from Boise, Idaho. And
Oh
he's
gosh.
explaining that, he thought college life will be different. He thought, he's like pretty much people just stick to their own. And he
Yeah.
haven't found his tribe. I don't know what his tribe would be because he's weird as I don't know what.
There you go. There you go.
Maybe some, gamer type. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. He wasn't into that. Like, I don't know. He didn't know nothing about nothing.
Yeah. It's crazy because nowadays you would be able to find your tribe faster because you just go on a certain group online and boom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But now it's like he did try to make friends, guys. Like, remember when he was when Malik was playing the game and he's like, yeah, I'm the greatest, whatever. He's like,
Yeah.
hey man, you want to play again, man? Come on, man, you want to play again?
Yeah.
He was trying to fit
Yeah. He was
somewhere.
trying.
So it's not like it's tough. It's tough. This movie just really makes you like,
Yeah, it definitely brings a whole nother perspective.
yeah.
And what Remy also noted, it may have been another scene, but I just want to mention it real quick. He mentioned, it was another scene, but he was pretty much stated that his dad used to pretty much kind of hit him every day.
Mm.
And so I'm like, okay, that kind of feeds into the bullying that he's experiencing now in college. It's kind of something he's always dealt with his father. And then now he's dealing with it with Fudge, and that coupled with, feeling out of place. So there were a lot of buildups to what happens eventually.
Yeah, Demarcus' mom. What's up, Demarcus?
Thank you, Demarcus. Yeah, he definitely brainwashed them. I mean, I don't even say wash, because I feel like when you brainwash somebody, they got something already in their brain. Remy ain't had nothing in that brain.
He was really trying to find himself. He was so lost.
Yeah, he just fed up. But I get what you're saying, Demarcus. I'm just kind of saying, like,
yeah. Did you not hate looking at Scott's face? Like, I hated looking at his face. I was just like, get off my screen.
Yes. Very, very creepy. Tamika said they were doing affirmative action in the 90s. It's when they started complaining about it. Okay. That's what I was thinking. It was around this time, but you can't, like, if we get any type of assistance, it makes them mad.
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. So Remy kind of comes into his own. Now, this scene was interesting to me because they're apparently taking some sort of exam, and he's struggling. Like, he's playing with his calculator. You can tell he don't know what to add up. He looking real confused, but everybody else around him is really understanding. And they click clacking on the computer. They click clackers. They know the formulas or whatever. I don't remember. Them $100 calculators, child. Don't get me upset. TI, T89, whatever. Yes. But everybody around him is, a different ethnicity. And so he's like, dang, but that, I feel like he's thinking about what Scott was telling him. And we see now he has a shaved head because he just took off his hat. And I guess that was his, he was representing his set or what have you.
Yeah, exactly. Because he see this guy over here in the kente cloth, he represent his. So,
yeah.
Right.
Yes. So Remy's like, you know what? I'm gonna show y'all fools. But yeah, you have anything to add about this, or
no?
Okay. Yes, I was just like, oh, you full throttle, Remy. So we see Kristen here. Just a little touch on her a little bit. You can tell like she doesn't know who she is. That's what she told the professor. Even the professor was like, her papers really wasn't showing any true, definition of, something that she stood for. She just seemed like she always kind of played the middle. And that kind of was, illustrated in her love life. Now she's feeling ready to kind of date after her assault. And I love the fact that her and Monet was kind of building a good friendship. She's telling her, how to, not put too much lipstick on. But she's kind of torn in between. She's starting to have feelings for Taryn, who's outward lesbian, and then also with Wayne. So she kind of like, trying to figure out her path in her sexuality. And the little scene on the bottom right here, she say, "Hey, Monet," and then she over there swinging arms. Monet was like, "You good?"
Yeah. And then they walked away. She was like, "Girl."
Exactly. That is so that we do that to this day, okay? Like, girl, you do that. And it's crazy because me and my husband, I ain't gonna lie, we be talking about people, and we were like, "Babe, look over there, look what you got on, look what you got on." we be low key roasting people in the most subtle way. It be so hilarious.
Oh my gosh!
And me, I'm the one. I don't know how to subtly like look because I feel like they'll realize I'm looking at them. He was like, just look a little bit. I can't just look a little bit.
You gotta look, yeah.
I'm the most horrible person to be like low key trying to peep somebody.
No, me and my husband know how to give each other the look, and then like he could look over at something, and I just be like, and then we just start laughing. Yeah. Like there was this lady and her feet was looking crazy, outrageous, and
he just admire feet.
We just started cracking up.
Oh, nobody went to work on Myra's feet. Oh,
no.
Yeah, it depends on the situation, but sometimes when we not paying attention all the way,
yes,
he be like, "Hey, look." Sometimes we just, but normally we have to like signal each other, like,
Yeah.
Well, when you kind of have that connection, you can kind of like, go to those cues. Like, I'm like, we got to do better. We can't keep talking.
I know.
People be leaving the house crazy. That's their fault.
Yeah, that is your fault. In the world.
Gosh. DeMarcus said Remy should have gone to a junior college. Child.
Yeah, I guess so.
Grade
Sure.
school
So he
was
could go back home with his crazy behind.
I
Exactly.
know.
Somebody need to watch this boy. But
Yes.
you know what I want to say real quick about Kristen? It was kind of like, girl, you out here like dating two people on the same campus, like you ain't scared. I mean, I just needed to know what that was all about, because I'm just like, you gonna have to tell somebody or make a choice. Like, I just
keeping it a buck, Miss Kate. That's so common. Like, that was so common from me seeing in school. Like, people was out there. Now, I feel like this was a much bigger school than I was at. So I can imagine it's much easier there. But some people were like more like prevalent and more outward with one person, but kind of sneaky with the other person. But she kind of willy-nilly with both. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Kristen, she was low-key a G. She was over there like, hey, because they had the little montage scene where she was kind of like being intimate with the girl, and then and she's intimate with the boy. I'm like, Kristen, we need to go to the health department, girl. You need to make sure.
Yeah, you would think that someone that kind of got SA'd would be a little more. But then sometimes, that does like it does make people promiscuous sometimes.
Yeah.
So
you are right.
I don't know.
That. No, you are 100% right about that. I know somebody like that. No one to get not in a bad way. It's not like even a good thing, but that definitely
it happens.
It can go both ways. It can go, you can strictly, just shut off, or you can just be loosey goosey. Like, it depends on the person and how they interact. But I did like in the scene with Scott, he made sure he had consent. He asked, he was like, hey, hold up, let me get protection. Like, he was very different.
He was such a good dude.
Really. Yeah.
I liked him.
Wayne. I like Wayne.
I liked him.
Yes. And so we just see we see bonding, a lot of bonding going on with Malik and Deja. They actually had an intimate scene, which they had the Tony playing. It is cool because they had, I love you,
Deja. Of course, you could never hear that song again without thinking about this movie, this love scene.
I know. Ain't that crazy? Oh, Jesus. But honestly, it seems like every time that he was with Deja, if they went in the bedroom, he was just talking some, I'm tired of the man
yeah. At some point, it's like, put your focus on something else. And I think that's what she was trying to say. Like,
Yeah.
If you get too wrapped up in all of that, it's gonna, take away the bigger picture.
Exactly. And she was very just very vast different in how they handle things. She, like she said, she's thinking with this, she's thinking with her head. It ain't always got to be physical. Like, you got to fight your battles the best way you can. You got to go far. To go far, you got to do it this way. You can't be doing it with your fist. But he's not all the way there yet in terms of maturity. No. But you could tell based on what he is telling her in conversations that he is learning more. He's reading more. A lot of fudge is influence is kind of rubbing off on him in a sense. So in this particular scene, he's wearing a Black Panther t-shirt. And of course, Remy bring his raggedy skinny behind out of nowhere. He's like, you represent the Black Panthers. You represent the Black Panthers. That's reverse racism. It's 1995 cool. And I was like,
yeah. Now you bold all of a sudden, but your peoples ain't here with you though.
Facts. Facts. So he went to his room. He started reading. I think it was reading Hitler or something. And Malik, he pulled up. And he was like, just telling him like, I like you being out my way for the most part, but I really think you be around here just calling me an N-word in your head.
Mm-hmm.
And, he kind of was pump faking him. He was, Remy wasn't about that life. Remy is really not about that life.
No.
At all. Malik was kind of punking Remy. And, he realized he didn't really need, at that point, he really didn't need to have to put his hands on Remy to prove that he had the upper hand, at least in terms of the physicality. So he went back to mind his business. But of course, Remy, punk behind, took his anger out on his roommate stuff.
Yeah, the weak scared dude. Come on.
That pissed me off. Like, I can't even imagine how I would feel if I see my roommate over there chilling on the bed and my stuff all jacked up. So of course the roommate comes in and he, is bucking up on, like you said, punk guy. But yeah. So Malik went back to his room. I guess they're a couple doors away. He hears Remy bucking up on his roommate, and he put this boy in a little okay, he's like, calm down.
Yes.
Oh, calm down. So Remy ends up pulling a gun out on the both of them. And he was like, you can tell Remy is just so intelligent. He really has nothing intelligent to say. He was just like, you're a little monkey.
Yeah, he's
you. Like, oh my God, Remy, like, shut up.
Aren't you amazed at how much like Michael Rappaport is just like so
so not like this.
He's pro-black.
He's pretty much invited to the cookout. I'm just
right.
So think of this, it was him. I was just like, this crazy to me. It's so crazy. Like, I just wondered how the acting, like, how people are method actors. I just want to know like his mindset, knowing who he is now. He's probably always, of course, been that way. But the shut on and shut off, I just want to know how to operate when he was filming this, because it's a lot. It's a lot. But he told the roommate to, get on your knees. So he got on his knees because he's scared. But Omar, he was just like, I ain't getting on my knees. Like, I'm staying right here. Like, he was real brave. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know if I was been as brave. Really brave. But yeah, this was a mess. So it pissed me off because it was weird, because Remy left, he packed this a couple things, left. Omar went after him, but I'm like, he still got the gun. Sorry, not Omar.
Malik.
Yeah, he still got the gun. Like, what we doing here? I didn't understand the direction of that, Miss K. Like, I don't know if you have any other insight, but I'm like, you ain't strapped, so why are you going after? I don't know if he was trying to get security. I don't know.
Wait, who are you talking about right now?
So remember,
Malik was running.
He was running,
banging on the doors.
Well, no, yeah, he was banging on the doors because he's like, I'm gonna get this fool. So I'm like, you're running back towards the guy with the gun. Like, I didn't understand.
Yeah, I guess he must have lost it. I didn't really get that either. I guess that his anger was so he was so infuriated that he was like, you know what? Now that he's walked away, he don't got the gun in my face. I'm gonna go after him. Like, yeah,
I guess, child. I was like,
right.
That's to strap up first before we go.
Exactly. Like, do like Monet, how she did. She called I ain't got nothing to talk about. I'm calling my peoples, right?
Exactly.
Malik.
Yeah.
That's what his girl said. You gotta think. He wasn't thinking.
Facts. So, which annoyed me again. They see Malik running. The security / cops grabbed him up while Remy escapes, triggering.
Yeah.
And so aftermath, they find the swastika or whatever in his room and the book he's reading. So we have, the black crowd on one side, the white people on the side. And so I'm gonna call them security guards. I don't even know if they was real cops or not. They probably were. They actually had guns. Did they have guns? I don't know. But yeah, I'm like, I don't remember seeing guns.
I think they do.
I think they did at the end.
Yeah, at the end.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say they're police officers, whatever. But they were telling like, the black kids to move. He was like, no, we not moving. You ain't telling them to move. So we see, militant, Fudge kind of sticking up for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was pretty much it for this part. You have anything like to add before we?
No, just
Okay.
yeah, that was as you said, it was very just irking, and especially if they see the swastika situation, like you got to know that there's something going on, but
Exactly.
it clearly wasn't reported. So yeah.
So this thing I wanted your input on, because Malik decides to kind of, I don't want to say sever ties with his roommate, because he just ends up moving in with Fudge because he says he's feel more comfortable around his own people. But Wayne is like, I'm not like that. I'm not like Remy. I'm no white supremacist. Like, I'm not like that. I'm different. And Malik was like, well, we're pretty much, there's no point of us being friends in this. He's like, you cool. I don't got no beef with you, but I don't feel comfortable with you. Do you think he kind of overreacted with this, or do you feel where he was coming from? Because I'm like, you ain't got to do all that. Like,
I don't like how he I don't really like how he interacted with Wayne from the jump.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, when Wayne came in that time and he had the music on, and then he woke up, he was like, oh man, I'm sorry, I didn't know. Like, this guy is genuinely a nice guy.
Yeah.
So even when Malik was like, we gotta talk, your little funky stuff over there, got the room like this, blah blah blah, and he was like, okay, I'll try to do better. He's very like non-confrontational.
Exactly.
And so I just don't understand why. It's just like, once again, we're talking about when somebody takes something to the extreme, like how Fudge takes things to the extreme. It's like Malik is taking it to the extreme. Like, it's black power all day, so I gotta be with my black people. And it's like, you need some black friends. Some white friends in this world too, pal. Like, he might be he might be someone that could, you might need a reference for when he might got a rich uncle, rich daddy, so why do that? It didn't make any sense to me. It was stupid.
Like, everybody needs a braiding. I mean, why are you playing around? Are you playing? Why are you playing? DeMarcus said at least Malik was not swinging in the air like Trey.
Oh, God.
No, he was beating on people's doors that he paid for.
Right. Banging it all. Like, come on now.
We had a cute little scene with the professor and Fudge and Malik. And my favorite part of this, he's like, peppermint.
Yes. Yes.
Hilarious. Okay, we gotta move. So we almost done, so we can get out of here. So Ice Cube peeps, the little, nice little supremacists, I'm gonna call them. He was like, oh, okay, I think I know what we're learning at. Yeah, look at what we have here, Miss K. Look at what we have here. So, we find out where they're eating, which is weird, right? Because they're on campus, but
exactly,
you said they don't look like students per se, but they're eating like they're students. Like, one of the guys mentioned, like, well, you don't even have your GED, so we know he ain't in school.
Right. They just came there to be with Remy, I guess, because Remy need protection and everything.
Yeah, but in this scene too, Scott mentioned, he was like, well, Remy, why did you drop out of school? So Remy not even a student here either.
What the heck going on?
Girl, well, I'm nitpicky.
You gotta leave it.
And he's explaining to Remy, like, we need people like you to be doctors and lawyers, pretty much to keep the racist, ball going.
Yeah, the worst damn people to be doctors. You kidding me?
That is facts, and we know there's people out there rooting for that team. But it's kind of funny because the guys were arguing. He was like, "You ain't nothing but a, inner,
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Just at the nick of time, and like Ice Cube was like, "Oh, really now?" Because some of the like non-verbal, like, cues and actions that Cube did, I really love it. So they kind of comparing each other up. You got Cube and Scott. We have Remy and Malik, and then we have this two big gentlemen over here. Everybody seems like they matched up, and then we got Bus over here. Got two of them.
Yes, I loved it.
He's like, like, let's get ready to rumble. But they end up, it seemed like they both was getting licks on each other, but for the most part, Team Black was winning. Remy didn't stand a chance, of course, because
Yeah.
He's definitely not in the same weight class as Malik. But yeah, it's a nice little scuffle. And so of course they go
Yeah.
back after the fight, and they pumping Remy head up. They kind of downplaying him because they was like, this is white blood here, this is Aryan Nation, and blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
And so Remy was like, this is war, man. He got this little thing on his head. This is war, man. This is war.
Talking mad trash. And then that's when Scott was like, you really, like, basically saying, are you really going to do it? Because I'm tired of this effing talking or whatever he was saying.
He was like, have you killed a black? I have shot a black, a black
Yeah.
guy like that. I'm like, oh, I needed more about Scott. Even though I didn't like Scott, I need to know more what's going on in your head, sir, because you over here, just a hot mess. But
Out
so
in
they
these
kind of,
streets.
yes. So he get a little briefcase out, and had a little rifle, whatever. So Remy, he makes his way to the roof during the peace fest that Kristen put together to kind of make all the people come together and be one with each other. And of course we see Malik and Deja. They're kind of talking about because he was in a verge of like talking about dropping out of school. And she was like, well, promise me you won't drop out. He said, I won't go anywhere with you. And I'm like, oh, little bird of me. You're not going nowhere together. So they hear like a little noise, and he was like, all right, let's go, whatever. And he peeps Remy on the roof. So he was like, let's go. So he grabs her, they run in, and the odds
Yeah.
that he hit her.
Yeah, he might have did it on purpose the way he was, because he was sniping. So
yes, definitely. And he said, he would shoot a lot with his dad. Looks like they were doing a lot of hunting and everything. So it's not really unbelievable for him. And do you think he was more so aiming for Malik or Deja? Like, did you ever think about?
Yeah, I never thought about it. But it does seem like it was aiming for Deja. Like, that could have been his way of hurting Malik.
Yeah.
But who knows? Because like we said, he doesn't really seem to have any type of idea of his own.
Yeah.
So I don't see him being smart enough to be like, yeah, I'll kill your little girlfriend and see how that makes you feel.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah. So he probably was, and because they were running.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
He probably was like a second off to getting Malik. And that's what the whole movie was calling him Malik. Oh, Malik. I'm like, do you think he was just saying that because he didn't respect him, or that he couldn't pronounce Malik?
She probably bought. It's just probably that he couldn't say his name.
Yeah.
And probably didn't care to know how to say it. You know what I mean?
Did you remember, like, Malik was really the name to have back in the 90s?
Yeah.
I used to tell myself, if I had a son, he's going to be named Malik after Malik. Yo, but you can't tell me. Malik. That was the name in the 90s, okay? Oh, God. Shout out to all the Raheems. I can't forget.
Yeah. That's funny because my husband calls my son Malik sometimes. His name is Malachi, but he calls him Malik just to play around, like Malik, because people be said, because I guess he gets that type of stuff too, like Malik. It's like, it's Malachi. Where do you get Malik from? Oh, okay. Yeah. Well,
Malachi is a nice name too. I like that.
Thank you.
Oh gosh. So Deja gets shot. And I don't know.
It's sad.
It's sad, but I hate to feel this way. But I feel like these scenes didn't age well. I don't know. It was just.
What you mean?
Well, like,
look fake.
It was giving me like Carrie a little bit. Like she was like, it was just like it was a lot of dramatic. Like why?
Yeah, the why part was kind of like.
Yeah, it was kind of like overdone. Like I don't know. I felt two ways about it. I'm like, is it really good?
At this stage in our life, I think that when we were watching it as kids, it was like super sad. You didn't think about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get what you mean. As at this age, when you see it and it's like, why? You're like,
like it was a lot. Like
do you have all that time to be saying why while you're scared? I don't know. I don't want to know.
Me either.
I don't want to know.
But I was thinking logistically.
It might actually hurt to be screaming like that. I don't know, but
Oh my god. I mean, I'm sorry if I'm petty,
so
y'all, but
sad.
I was just thinking like, But Malik, he freezes up. Like
Yeah.
he really froze, and professor's like, she needs a doctor. We gotta take her to the hospital, like call for help. And Omar was really, I don't know what he transformed his mind to think, but he was really, you could tell in that mind state. Like you could tell he was really in it. And he didn't think to call for help. He just thought to go seek out Remy.
I mean,
Which is a little odd choice for me, but I can't speak to what's in that guy's. And maybe in his mind, he thought she was. I mean, I know he didn't think she was dead, but maybe I don't know. I can't explain. But he goes up to the building that Remy is at. They kind of meet halfway through the steps, and they started fighting. Of course, he's getting the best of Remy. But of course, Remy gets to a point where he gets his gun and starts, that idiotic rhetoric again. I'm the man. I'm the man. I'm
Sounds so stupid. Like he's trying to just get himself to believe all these things.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yes. But of course the cops show up again. And they grabbed up Malik and asking Remy, like, are you okay? Are you okay? Like, the grace.
Oh Lord. Ain't he the one with the gun?
And that follows through, because Remy's trying to leave the building. They was like, kid, what are you doing? Like, it's okay. Like, it's gonna be okay. And it just you could tell John Singleton was kind of, wanted to make a real point with this, how they were just so patient and just so like, just the grace they was given, like, it's okay, like we won't hurt you. And don't get me wrong, that could be some type of, tactics as well, trying to calm down a gunman, but we already know if the shoe was on the other foot.
Exactly.
Malik wouldn't got that grace.
Nope.
But they still have Malik over here hemmed up crazy to me. And he witnesses, and everybody witnessed, Remy offing himself. And before he does so, he says, I'm sorry, which I generally felt he was sorry. And I'm like, dang, they got me feeling bad for Remy up in here. Like, I don't feel, I'm giving him accountability, but a small part of me at this point still kind of feel a little bit.
Yeah. And it just, because it really shows you that there's people that need help. Like people need to see, like, as far as Remy, like, let's say his parents really needed to see that something was wrong with him, so that they can get him some kind of help, because you're allowing this kid to go off to college away from you guys and be under the influence of other people and all that stuff. And he's not mentally stable.
No.
And this kind of happens way too often, and I think what it is that a lot of people, they don't want to accept the fact that there's something wrong with their child a lot of the times, and so they just don't get them any help, and kind of like, oh well, if they don't really need like special needs type of situation, then they'll just let them go to school with the kids, general population, at school. And meanwhile, like, no, you're really you're dropping the ball big time. This kid needs help.
A combination of that, I feel like also he was sheltered, and he didn't have exposure to nothing. You know what I'm saying? He, this was kind of like his big reveal to the world. I'm not sure of the exact racial, demographics of Boise, Idaho, but I know it didn't look like this college campus. And you're right about people not wanting to admit about their kids, because I have situations throughout the years, really when I was younger, where I would see a friend's kid and you can tell something was kind of off, but as a friend, you don't want to offend your friend with the kids, so you kind of keep quiet. But then eventually they'll realize, something is wrong. My kid needs help. But I've been put in that awkward position. Is like, you want to say something because you care, but you don't want them to take it the wrong way, because people are protective of the kids, right? So, but when I was younger, I didn't know how to articulate, And of course, I don't think at this age, if I know how to articulate that as well, because that's a sensitive subject.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think you can.
No.
You know,
No.
only people that could do it is the professionals. Like you, they go to school. You send home a letter like, "Oh, we're noticing that this, that, and the
Yeah.
third. He's not keeping up with this. He's not. You know what I mean? That's the only way.
Yeah.
But other than that,
That's
yeah.
true. That's true. Candy Love said homeschooled and raised in the basement, not the basement. I cannot. I cannot. But Omar Epps, I guess the police let him go, and he comes out the building, and uh, Professor kind of puts his head down to signal, that Deja has passed, seemingly so. And then I just love this scene because he's really coddling, Malik, just really showing that love,
Mhm.
just really petting his hair and everything. Really a good scene. Omar was definitely acting uh
Yeah,
a lot with conveying these emotions, without saying
yeah,
much. I mean, he was crying out Deja eventually, but
yeah.
before
That
doing,
was rough.
yeah, that was hard. And
Yeah.
then on the flip side, we see, Aryan Nation brother, the brotherhood over there, hearing about the news, and the newscaster was saying 3 people were injured, Remy, Deja, and apparently there was another person
Mhm.
that was injured, but they never showed that other person.
Yeah.
But you see, like, it was like that, that was Remy, that was white power, that was white. I'm like,
Mhm. So stupid.
what?
So
Wow.
stupid.
How did A be equals, like, how did y'all come to this?
Yeah, like they don't care that Remy died as long as they took out, you know what I'm saying, some black folk in the process. It's like,
Exactly. It's like they use, especially with this guy, they kind of painted to him grinning, which is very sinister. It's like
yeah.
he kind of got what he wanted in a sense. Like it was
Mhm.
very twisted.
Yeah, it's like and like I said, for him that night to just come out of nowhere,
Yeah.
it's almost like where you lurk have you been lurking in the shadows watching Remy? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it did seem very, very weird.
Yeah.
I
Like he
really
had an
hate seeing
agenda.
his face. Ugh, yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely given agenda. Like his purpose was to create chaos. Because
Mhm.
throughout the movie we see, they kind of, I didn't mention this, but they didn't they went ahead and attacked a biracial couple.
Yeah.
And then they also attacked a gay couple, the
Mhm.
same, right before Remy was, out there shooting and stuff. So
Right.
you could tell he was just trying to stir, just an agent
Mhm.
of chaos.
Yeah. And even in that scene when they beat up the whole Salt and Pepper, it was like, well, they beat up the black guy,
Yeah.
right? And probably roughed her. I think they smacked her or something like
Yeah, they
that.
was pulling her hair
But
and stuff. Yeah,
yeah,
a lot.
even with that scene, Remy looked uncomfortable.
Very.
You know what I mean? So,
Very. He wasn't. He was still like in shock, like because he
mhm,
was still trying to belong. So he's like, okay, I'm gonna go with these people that's accepting me. But he
mhm.
still was. It wasn't like something that he was comfortable doing, like attacking these people.
Yeah.
Thank you for pointing that out because it's something
No
I wanted to
problem.
mention, but I'll be here 50-11 slides.
Yeah, no, I know.
It was so many little things. Um, but we come to the close, of the movie. And Kristen is there, by the Columbus statue, of course.
Mm,
And she's blaming herself for, the violence, and it's kind of like a callback to the beginning of the movie with them
mm.
in the elevator. Um, and it's funny because I know like when it comes to blocking and these decisions, directors are very what's what I'm looking for?
Intentional.
Yes, thank you. Intentional.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it was meant to kind of have them like facing, the screen in the beginning, and then us kind of, behind them,
Mhm.
So I don't know if, it was something, I'm sure it was intentional.
Yeah.
I just pay attention to stuff like that.
Yeah.
But Malik was telling her, it's not your fault. And they was introducing, she was like, hey, my name is Christian. It was not Christian, Lord. Kristen. That's my nephew's name. And it's funny because they went through all this and going through all this, but this is the first time they're actually kind of like formally introducing,
Right.
it took all this for them to say
Right. When he could have said, "How you doing?" when he got on the elevator, she could have said, "How are you?" when they got
facts.
on the elevator. You know what I mean? But now you're gonna introduce each other after this. This is it's sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why?
Y'all
Why should people have to go through this?
yes. Exactly. Um, and yeah, so they pretty much, kind of go their separate ways. And at the end, Omar was pretty much speaking with the professor and was like, well, what should I do? He was like, oh, it's my job to think about that. And he did mention something which I felt I always kind of bring this home when it comes to like college. Professor said college teaches you how to think. And that's one of the big things, because I always, and throughout the years, I've talked to people about, what I learned from college. I learned more from what I experienced outside of the classroom than what I did inside of the classroom. And college, like I say, it teaches you how to think, how to come up with your own original thoughts, how to learn, how to, process certain things. So I thought, that was a good takeaway too. Because half that stuff I learned in the classroom, yeah, some of it stuck with me, but for the most part, out the window.
Right.
Out the window.
Yes.
Oh gosh. I mean, you still over there with the books, child. So I know you still got plethora of knowledge still in that brain of yours.
I can't wait to be done. But this thing where you said it says, unlearn. It's really important because it's like, all of these people that come to the school, what did they do? We talked about this already. They looked for their group automatically. And it's kind of like when you do that, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but when you do that, you're not really opening yourself up to learning new things or, making new friends and stuff like that. And plus, you keep yourself kind of stuck in your own bubble of the things that you learned in your culture and where you grew up, right? And that's the problem. So, like he's saying, I feel like the message is like unlearn what you've been taught as far as, the thing that's keeping you, whatever. Sometimes what we learn keeps us in the same place, right? It stagnates us, especially if you learn racism.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so, I thought this is a very powerful message of unlearn.
Yes. I loved it.
Yeah. If I could say one more thing, and it might be a reach, but I don't know why. That scene with Billy being taken out of the house like that. I mean, probably not even close, but for some reason I thought about Emmett Till. How, they heard about him whistling at a woman, and what did they do? They got the gang to come and take him out of his house in the middle of the night. And you had the family there and everything. No one did anything. So and it's kind of like a reverse type of situation.
Yeah.
Billy calls this black girl a B. She goes, gets the crew. They come right into the home of these other people with all these people around. No one does anything. They had enough people in there that could have fought back. Nobody did anything. They just was able to pull Billy out of the house with no one doing anything. But the difference is that they had mercy. All it was, see, and that to me, that kind of just shows the difference between black and white a lot of the time. Like, we're not as evil as they are. Not they, but some of them. He said, just apologize, call her Black Queen, Mother of the Earth, all of this, blah, 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 and then we're gonna go along our way. But what did they do with Emmett Till was a whole nother situation. But I mean, like I said, I could be reaching, but it reminded me of that. How he was pulled out of his house, and so Billy was pulled out too. Like you insulted a woman or said some derogatory stuff towards a woman. So this is what we're going to do.
No, that's a great point, because it reminded me of something I was thinking with that scene as well. How it seems though with Kristen, not necessarily to her choice, but she was kind of pulled into the black side in a sense. Like we was able to kind of, not saying like they went there to protect Kristen, because I think mainly they was there to defend Monet's honor. Right. But you could see how Monet, when she realized Christian's friends was trash, because they still, not even paying her dust. They're like, Billy, are you okay? Are you okay? And so Monet was like, come on, girl. Like she took her under her wing and was protective of her. But I know if the roles were reversed,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would have left her out if it was if it was, Monet being the one that got SA'd, like, she
Mhm.
probably would have been left out there. So,
Exactly.
yeah. So that's a good
Yeah.
observation. But yeah, DeMarcus Fudge finally graduated.
Yes, speaking of fun. Yes.
Yeah.
It was like he went down to the seat doing all this. He was like,
Well,
all right, kind of picture.
looking like he gonna smile and then yeah, exactly. I was like, oh my gosh. Candy
Six
love the
long years.
confetti.
6 long years, child. 6 long years.
Finally. Woo! He probably said, all right, I done had enough. They shooting at the school.
Yeah.
Time to go.
Yeah. Like yeah. I done taught all the people. I'm good.
Exactly.
You remind me of my high school graduation. Oh, I don't want to say his name, but there was a guy. He was on the verge of being 21.
Mm.
And it was so not funny, but when they got up and said his name, like literally standing ovation.
Oh wow.
Standing ovation. It was crazy. We was proud, but it was like, dang, like he up in here. He is super duper senior too. But yeah, it was kind of interesting. Yes, Monique, 69. He was a professional student. All right. But yeah, because multiple times he was like, I'm, you gotta learn the game, So, but that was pretty much how I learned. It was definitely good to, rewatch it and just really take in a different perspective because I haven't seen it in a long time. And just with these 39-year-old eyes and brain in mind, definitely have a different outlook versus when it first came out. Me being like in elementary school. So it's definitely a
Yeah.
vast different perspectives. Do you have any other thoughts about this movie before we get out of here?
No, that was pretty much. I'm sorry, I should have waited till the very end to talk about that part. I thought we was finished. But
Oh no,
yeah, it was definitely, it was a really, really good movie. I have to make sure that my other kids watch it. But it was sad, especially, you don't want to think about sending your children to college for those type of things to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like you want,
yes.
it's just sad, and it's like you got to be prayed up, because
Yeah, that's a great thought because a few times several other students mentioned I just wanted to go to school. I didn't go to school for this. You know what I'm saying? Like you just wanted to go to school, all this drama and unnecessary BS. Some things come with the territory, in terms of finding your own way as an adult, but these situations are a little too extreme.
right.
So, like,
Exactly.
for instance, your kids or anybody that has kids that's entering colleges may be a good, film to watch and kind of, have some talking points, preparing them for the world, if you will.
Yeah.
Because, your parents can talk to you under the sun, but
Mhm.
sometimes you need to, because sometimes, that kind of go in one ear out the other for some kids.
Yeah.
So seeing things like this.
Unfortunately.
I'm like, yeah, ma, she's just talking. Let me get my books and let me go to school. But thank y'all for coming through and supporting. Please make sure y'all like this video. Wednesday, I'll be doing my Power episode 503 live. Right after that, I'll be counting down Power Universe Toxic Sons and Mothers. Thursday, I'm doing the Force rewatch episodes 1 and 2 of season 1, and then the Pretty Thorough podcast. Possibly on Friday. We may take a week break, not sure. But Miss K, do you have anything going on? Because are you doing a Wire this week?
Yes, tomorrow. Okay. The Wire season 5. I think episode 3. Yes, episode 3. And then on Friday, since what's it called? The Shy is back. I'm gonna, resume with my regular midnight with Miss K or Moonlight with Miss K. That's where we originally started with the Shy, and so that's what we're gonna be doing. The premiere.
Okay,
midnight Friday, even though technically it would be Saturday, but you know what I mean.
You know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone in the chat. I appreciate it. If you're watching replay, please let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I will catch you on the next one. Toodles.
Bye.